All right, 2008 Porsche Cayenne S 4.8 liter non-turbo. We have, it doesn't show it right now, but we have an ABS problem. And appears that it wants a module checked out. So I'm going to bring you along on this. I don't know if it'll turn into anything or not, but first thing we're going to do is go ahead and complete the scan. Let it, sorry about the camera work here. Let it do the auto scan. We'll probably fast forward through this part because it takes forever with this little Autel. Okay, 4.5 minutes in real time. A lot of these codes are going to be because I was out unplugging things that I shouldn't have been. So let's take a look what we have here. Power supply without engine operation. Yep, that's fine. Power supply, steering wheel, electronics, that's fine. Anything power supply related we're going to ignore because I pulled the battery out of this and I also unplugged a few modules when I was checking for something else. What we're looking at is this 1276 here, this hydraulic pump failure. And it's not going to give us anything because I don't think we're connected to the internet out here. Let's just take a look. Oh, it's just a Google search. Anyway, I've already done the Google search. You're not going to want to worry about that. It just simply says that you may have a bad battery. In our case here, we do not. I pulled the seat. I pulled the battery, full charge, had it tested. It has 990 available cold cranking amps, discharges and accepts a new charge just fine. So the hydraulic pump, we're either going to have a wiring problem to it or we're going to have a bad hydraulic pump. It's a very simple thing. I tell my students that if you have power and you have ground and you have good connection, then you most likely have a bad component. Now, given the location of this hydraulic pump, there's not much more you can check on it because it's connected obviously in line to the brakes, and there's just no way of testing the pump without pulling it, applying power to it, having it run. I couldn't find any good way. So what we're going to leave ourselves with is just simply checking for power and ground at the unit. And to do that, we have a wiring diagram. There are 3 important power feeds going to the unit. 1 power feed going to the hydraulic unit specifically. All the fuses checked out good, but we're just going to check and make sure that we don't have resistance in the wiring, as these Cayennes are known to have water problems. The ground wire where it connects to the body seems to be just fine, and we'll take a look at that as well. And at the point where we have good power and good grounds at the unit, we're going to replace the unit. I don't think there is any way to self-test the unit as far as special functions on this. Certainly if there are and we can get the pump to hum, that would be one way of checking. So let's go into active tests. Start active test with buttons. Okay, we'll start. Brake lights activated. Start that one. And I can see back there that it's on. So we'll stop that one. Hydraulic pump, hey, here we go. So we got nothing. It will not start the test, which means we either have a wiring problem going to it or we have a bad module. We'll go ahead and escape out of that. Let's exit out. Active test. All right, and start. Let's see if, yeah, we may have lost. No, we still got 12.25 volts. It's telling us there's an ABS failure right there. I think we didn't know that. So we'll go back into the system. We exited it out. I don't know why these ABS systems want you to completely leave and then come back in to retest them. It doesn't seem to be anything that's unique to Porsche or to Cayennes, but brake light activated, start, stop. Hydraulic pump, start. Nope. So clearly we have an issue there. I don't think continuing to hammer that same test is going to yield any different results. I have no reason to believe that. And we're going to go through the beeps where it's telling me that there's a problem with the anti-lock brake system again. Unable to communicate with control unit. Well, that's not true. Let's just do a quick erase. PSM, for those who are wondering, Porsche stability management, has to do with the traction control and the anti-lock brakes. Rather than calling it an ABS module, Porsche calls it a PSM. Does the same thing. So we got PSM, air conditioning, headlight, rear doors. Let's see what that report looks like. Two faults in the PSM. We got power supply, steering wheel electronics, and we have hydraulic pump. Surprised that 1826 came back, actually. Air quality sensor. I don't know if this has ever gotten to cabin filter. Steering angle sensor. Steering angle sensor. Alarm, siren, and horn. Alright, let's go back and go into the PSM. Just want to see if we're capable of displaying any data. Live data. Okay, so it senses a stoplight, senses the ABS and PSM warning light being on. Steering angle sensor. I've got the wheels cranked around, so I'm not overly concerned about that. Rate of turn sensor, pressure sensor. It's jumping around a little bit. Again, we're not really running, so I don't know what the refresh rate would be on that. And it's capable of sensing the PSM off button. Wipers are off, reverse light switch, NA. So yeah, so the module itself seems to be all right. It's capable of interpreting some of the information that's being fed to it from the vehicle inputs. So what we're going to have to do now is check our voltage feed, I guess. See if we got power going to the motor itself, and we'll go from there. Stand by. Okay, to start with, let's look at the left fuse box. Fuse number 51. Hot with relay 15 diagnosis energized. We're going to follow that down, and that is black wire. An operated condition switch with manual transmission, so I don't believe we have that one. Let's check this other one. Fuse number 26, it looks like. Comes down, branches off into the clutch switch, which we don't have. And from the clutch switch, it goes to the motor control unit, right rear of engine compartment. So that is our feed to the hydraulic motor itself. Fuse number 26, left side of the dash. Going to be second row down, first one. It's a 10 amp fuse, and right there, that 10 amp, we have power there, and power in and out, so we're good here. Move on to the other side. All right, here we are on the right side of the dash. We're going to just use our trim tool to pop that off. And on this side, we have 3 power feeds. Fuse 33, fuse 56, and fuse 9. Now they all go into the PSM control unit, which is the ABS hydraulic pump, yada yada yada. So let's check the 3 fuses we have here. Now we got our stuff together. We're going to start with the big one, the main fuse. That is going to be fuse 56, which is the top 40 amp fuse here in the box. And we don't have any. Stand by. All right, we're going to check the top 40 amp fuse, which is fuse 56, which you have to check that by pulling it. There are no test terminals on it. So we pulled it, got power in, fuse itself is intact. So we should be good there, although I will put a continuity meter across that before all said and done. Next one we have is number 8. Top row, 8th slot, which is, this one comes down, it's terminal 30. So 8th slot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that was good camera work there. Anyway, power in, power out. That was good. And last but not least is fuse 6. What we should have checked. Top row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 30 amp fuse. Oh, yeah, great. Here. Good there. Good there. Fuse 38 would be our next and last one. It's in the first row, first fuse, second row up from the bottom. So this little, let's see if I can get you a better view. Little 10 amp one down here. And we're good there. Good there. Okay. So what's that tell us? We got good power at all the feeds. The next thing we're going to have to do is check and make sure those power feeds are making it all the way to the module. And this module is not a real easy thing to get at. First of all, you have to take the wiper cowl off. You have to take the hood strut out, raise the hood up, put something so it doesn't shatter the windshield. And then you have an ECM that's in the way. And after you pull the ECM, you'll see our module down there. So there is access to the harness underneath the ECM. Really can't get a shot of it. Anyway, it's down below the ECM. What we're going to want to do now is we're going to, first of all, shut the key off. Then we're going to unplug it, and we're going to check resistance in the wires, as they all seem to come pretty much straightforward from the fuse box to the ABS unit. So stand by for that. Okay, so we got five main things to check. Pin 1 and pin 32 should have power. Pin 8 should have power. Pin 47 and pin 16 should have ground. So we're going to put you in the holder and check that real quick. Okay, we've got our test light, because I don't have a power probe, hooked up to battery positive. So we're going to check our two grounds first, which are the two big wires at the end of the connector, and we are good there. I'm just lightly touching those. Don't ever shove the tip of the test light into the terminals, because it'll spread the terminals and you'll create more problems. So I'm going to go switch it over to ground, and we're going to check the remaining ones. Also, I checked the grounds for the unit itself, which is this right here. It's known as ground 12, and found it to be good. I cleaned it anyway, reattached the ground wires, as well as ground 14, which is the one right next to it. That seems to be the ground for the ECM. So we'll check pin 1 and pin 32 for power. And of course, we do not have the car on, so there's that. Power there. And good power there. Curious as to why it doesn't show up. Okay, now we got good power there. Thought for a minute we had a bad ground. So we're good there. The only other one left to check is pin 8 should have power. So let's pour our ground off prematurely. We need to find pin 8. Should be 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we have power there as well. So what does that tell us? We've got power at all 3 locations in the harness where we should have power. We've got ground in both of the locations where we should have ground. Now what we have not checked is the amount of load that that circuit is capable of carrying. I'm using a very low amperage test light. You know, that's the pump is on a 40 amp circuit, but I don't know which 2 of those wires to load up, and I don't want to melt anything by putting a headlight in series to check the amount of load that it can carry. I have a suspicion that we're going to get this out of here and there's going to be a problem with rust in the pump, because we did have a drain problem previous to this. So I'm going to take a picture of some part numbers, and we're going to go check the interwebs and see what it looks like to replace the module. Stand by.